Hello. How's everyone doing on this fine Saturday evening? I'm your host, Joey Pedros, and I hope everyone is doing super well. We're going to get this show started in just a few seconds, so get your questions ready or your topics of discussion and start singing them out in the chat. And we'll have a nice show tonight. It's been a while since I did a full-on Twin Peaks video, but I figured with everything that's been going on, let's just have an old-fashioned, Twin Peaks video to discuss whatever the heck we want. And so that's what this is going to be. I hope everybody has fun and enjoys themselves, and let's get this show started. All right. Hey, everyone. Joey here, back again. Sorry for those of you that watched the previous stream. Chat wasn't working for some reason. I don't really know why. But thank you for those of you that are in the chat now, watching live on a Saturday night. I know it's late for a lot of you, but hello. We're here talking Twin Peaks once more. It is not gone forever. It is still, still plenty to be talked about, I guess. So there's not too much on the docket today, but I figured, we'll see who's up, who's awake, and see what everybody wants to discuss. Hello, Wilton. 402, hello. Lights above, hi. 402 asks, Lynch should have used the song Where or When in Twin Peaks. It would fit. I mean, he mentions it. Probably would have been cool to use it, but that's right, 402. You're same time zone as me. It's 10 o'clock, 10:11 right now. What's up, Pale Queens? How's it going? We have a nice little tidy chat here. Lights Above says, when will season 4 be announced? Wish I had that information. I wouldn't hold on to it, but I have a feeling nobody knows. Who knows when we will find out, if we will ever find out. I'm hopeful, but things are moving in the Twin Peaks world at its own pace. Almost like it's kind of just it's moving at the pace of inspiration, I guess, if that's a good way to put it. And inspiration does not always strike when you want it. It strikes when it means to, or when experience clash with whatever life in general. So I'm hopeful it'll be back eventually. It might never come back. It might come back in the form of a book, comic book, whatever, podcast, serial podcast. But maybe it'll come back. Who knows where or when it will. I would be excited to see everybody back again. A lot of them are still having a good time in Australia or New Zealand, wherever they are today. It seems like they're having a ball, hanging out with koalas, chatting with a lot of the locals that live down there, doing panels and whatnot. So they're having a ton of fun. I think they're doing another one this weekend. So maybe we'll have some new stuff come out of that. 402 says, would you be accepting of a season 4 without Lynch? I would. I'd be completely fine if Mark Frost helmed the whole project. I would like to see almost. I'm curious, at least. I should say that. I'm curious to see a Twin Peaks, a Mark Frost Twin Peaks, where he has most of the creative control over the show. I know there's a lot of people that are kind of purists and they think it has to be both of them or not at all. But I'm just curiosity and what we could do with cameras this day and age. Things are less expensive, besides people's time, but less expensive, so they could experiment a little more and let people try different things. Lights Above says, what do you think the point is of the Twin Peaks Australian tour? Maybe they just did some kind of, surveying and found that they have a very large fan base there. And I don't know if they'd ever done anything Twin Peaks related down there. And it seems like a good way to touch base with the people down there that they're not forgotten. We see you, we hear you. Millie, who does those brilliant dolls, and she does a lot of fantastic stuff, got to ask a question to Lynch on the big monitor through Skype, which was funny. So Lynch is active. He's keeping Twin Peaks in his sights. Of course, he won't ever say anything. When does he? But when the time comes, hopefully we get something. Pale Queen says, I would like to see Mark's vision. I would too. I'm really curious. It's just a curiosity. I'm not trying to step on anybody's feet. I'm just really just curious to see what he does with it on his own. I think it would be good for those of us who like maybe a more traditional kind of way of storytelling without sort of a lot of the fragmentation we love with Lynch, but it's just sometimes we want to see we want to see the progression of these characters. But again, would it be Twin Peaks without some kind of insanity? I would say no, because the original series like that. But again, it's a different thing. I don't know. It's a difficult question. I would say I can't hear myself. Hello, Buzzkirk. What's up? Her2 says Frost had some interesting ideas in the books, even in the history of Twin Peaks. It was all over the place. Still, I like some of the scenarios that were set up. I had no problem with The Secret History. I enjoyed reading it. Read like a history book, which I'm not. I'm definitely not a history buff in any respect, but I liked it. I thought it was cool. A lot of the stories, were kind of eerie, especially the stuff about the aliens in the mountains and whatnot. And the final dossier was, a good wrap up. It answered a lot of questions. Again, how canon that is questionable. I don't really know I don't see why they wouldn't be canon. They do work in some ways. I know there's a lot of discrepancies, but again, now we're like messing with time, so who the hell knows what's real and what isn't, or what's in. I guess there is no linear timeline, but we'll see. Pale Queen says, I would love to see many directors try and tackle Twin Peaks, with Lynch doing a few in between, just like the original run. I mean, a lot of those directors are still around. Leslie Linklater, she's still, kicking it. So she could come back in and, now that they set up this new Twin Peaks premise, Twin Peaks world, I think they could move on and try to make it more of a show instead of Dave Lynch's movie, which is essentially kind of how he approached it. Pale Queen says Mark has defined world build for Twin Peaks. I think so. I think we definitely should give him a lot more credit for that. Lynch is responsible for like sort of the film visual art style, I guess, or a film storytelling style, and Mark is, I think, a little bit more traditional about the scripts and whatnot. That's just me. I might be totally wrong, but that's how I perceive the whole thing anyway. What's up, Sean? It's been a crazy past few weeks. Yeah, that's why I thought we'd just do a regular old Twin Peaks discussion video. I figured it would be nice for everybody to sort of do a video where they just, shoot the crap about Twin Peaks again. Frodo 2 says, I did have a problem with Norma's mother-in-law, or Normal's mother, in the final dossier. It doesn't seem to jibe with what we saw in the show. No, it doesn't. There's definitely discrepancies. That's probably one of the main ones that a lot of people caught. It's just like, this doesn't make a lot of sense. She seemed a lot more like sort of, I don't know, sort of like a city woman, I guess. She was very refined, and she wasn't as lax as like Norma seems to be. She's very sort of snobbish, I guess. I mean, she's a restaurant reviewer. Kind of have to be a little snobbish, I guess. No offense to anybody who's a restaurant reviewer that's watching. I don't know if there are any. Lights Above says, I would like to see Frost write a novel of Twin Peaks. I would too. At this point, I would take anything. Actually, speaking of Frost novels, I'm probably going to start Frost's books, his book series, The Last of Seven, which I have sitting on the shelf right there. I was thinking about, once I get through those books, just dissecting those and maybe seeing if there's any parallels, if there's some things that he used in that, came back in Twin Peaks. I thought that would be a cool little discussion breakdown once I actually get to reading them, which who knows when that's going to be, hopefully soon. Jason, what's up? Yeah, we just got on. We haven't been talking too long. Actually, it's been 15 minutes already, or 10. I had the timer going. Sean says, I just finished watching The Return on Blu-ray. It's gorgeous on Blu-ray. I still have to finish watching all those special features. I still haven't. Excuse this chair, squeaky chair. I still haven't watched all the special features yet, and I'll eventually get back to it. But I just, I actually rewatched the first half of The Return maybe 2 weeks ago because I had a long work day, and I was like, I need to put something on just to, keep me occupied. Furrow 2 says, also Norma was truly hurt with what her mother did to her, and if she was only a stepmother, then Norma shouldn't have cared as much. Yeah, that's the thing. It's, I don't know. That was a little bit discrepancy, but I don't remember the source, but from what I read, they weren't too worried about what's it called, continuity. When it came to this new series, they did a little bit, but it doesn't seem like a they were just trying to make this almost brand new Twin Peaks, sort of apart from what everything we built up in the first 2 seasons, if that makes sense. Yeah, I really couldn't get up through all the special features in one sitting. I have to go back to it. Van says I'd be up for a Frost read-along reaction vid that might make me finally read them. I mean, like, if we started our own little Twin Peaks reading book club or something, maybe we could all get to reading those books and, you know, having something new to discuss in this world. I mean, maybe I'll set it up. We'll see. If anybody's interested, we could set up a little Mark Frost Twin Peaks book club. Not sure how many of you guys out there are diligent readers, but we shall see. Sean says I'm in the middle of reading The Big Nowhere by James Elroy. Haven't heard of that one. Hope it's good. 402 says I haven't been able to rewatch season 3. I've tried, can't get through it. Maybe I'll be able to watch it again in another year or so. This is what I was discussing in the other video. I think maybe, and I say that doing a Twin Peaks video, maybe we've just been in the world too much. At what point, this is kind of what I wanted to really discuss, at what point do you take a break from something? And not just Twin Peaks, just like if you're have like an obsession or, you know, something you really love, entertainment wise, or sort of even hobby wise, or just something like when's a good point? When do you know that, you know, you should give it a rest, or else it's just gonna be too much and you're not gonna be able to really deal with it anymore? Because that's why I kind of stopped making Twin Peaks videos for a little while, or at least I just wasn't making them as often, because it was just getting to a point where I felt like I was repeating myself too much. And last year I was just Twin Peaks overload, rewatching season 1 and 2. I couldn't tell you how many times I watched Fire Walk with Me. It was just so much Twin Peaks. And I got maybe a month or two ago, I got to a point where I'm like, I feel like I was like starting to be frustrated, like almost be frustrated with Twin Peaks, and not really, you know, besides everything that's going on, it was like I think I just overdid it. So I want to know if any of you guys have felt that way since you've been watching it. Is there a point where you just, I know a lot of us have taken a break since season 3 or haven't returned to season 3, but have you just taken a break from like the discussions and like the rewatching and listening to the music or whatever? Has anybody just taken a big break from it and kind of just, you know, put all the Twin Peaks stuff away and just close themselves off to it, so that maybe you could come back in like a couple weeks or maybe in a couple months, and like watch it with like a renewed love for it? Or I'm just curious how you guys are feeling about it. This is almost like a therapy session with Twin Peaks, because, you know, I'm seeing like all this Twin Peaks stuff go on still. Excuse me, my chair is really squeaky. You know, we have the thing in Australia, which that's probably extremely fun for them. We have Twin Peaks UK festival, I think, coming up or soon. We just had Twin Peaks Festival. We had Twin Peaks at Comic-Con. So it's like I don't know. Is it ever too much, or do you think there's not enough still? I don't know. I'm in a weird place with it. 402 says I was excited about it when it first came on last year. I watched each episode 4 or 5 times. Same here. Now it's just not something I watch for now. That's fair enough. Sean says I took a break for a while, especially what's going on with the community at the moment. Yeah, I know a lot of people are feeling burnt out. Danielle, as a lot of you guys know, she's been on my videos, my girlfriend. Definitely has like sort of feeling a little, just like it's time for a break. And I've been feeling that way as well, although I do love it. And it's almost hard to avoid because I feel like I'm so heavily entrenched in it. And I know a lot of you guys are too, where it's like Facebook groups and everybody, a lot of the people you follow on Twitter, everybody's kind of just Twin Peaks centric at this point. We all created this kind of almost our own little world, and it's very much centered around David Lynch and Twin Peaks. And I don't know if this is because of the internet age. I don't know if this also existed back in the 90s or maybe early 2000s too. I guess message boards and stuff, but I wonder if it ever got to this sort of critical mass, which I'm feeling like it is now. Some people might not feel the same way, but Adamo says, Joey, how excited would you get if Lynch gets to make his new film, Antelope Don't Run No More? What is that? Hold on, I'm gonna have to search that because I don't know anything about that. Now, if there's a new David Lynch film, I'd be completely up for it. Antelope Don't Run No More, unproduced Lynch screenplay incorporating elements from Mulholland Drive and Inland Empire, set mostly in Los Angeles. Antelope Don't Run braids threads from Mulholland Drive and Inland Empire into a narrative fantasia that incorporates space aliens, talking animals, and beleaguered musician named Pinky. It's impressed everyone who's read it as one of the best scripts Lynch has ever written. Unfortunately, Lynch wasn't able to get funding for this project. Perhaps his success of Twin Peaks will convince. I didn't know about this. Thank you for bringing that to my attention, Adamo. I mean, maybe Netflix will do something. Maybe it's like we kind of discussed, where Showtime cut another deal to do a movie with him. I don't know. But I had not heard about this Antelope Don't Run No More thing. Super interesting. Sounds very Lynchy. Anything. I'm not saying I'm just, done with Lynch or Twin Peaks. I'm just saying I need a break. But if something new comes along, I'd be just as excited for it. And this sounds cool. Hope he finds funding for it, or maybe he already has. Katrina says, like many, I've lived a 27-year gap, and it was still fresh coming back. I won't give it another 27 years, but maybe a few. I mean, not to be morbid, but, Lynch is not a young man, and neither is Frost or a lot of people that are on that show. So, I don't even want to say it because I feel weird saying it, but, life finds a way. Forward 2 says, the community was so friendly at one time, I just don't understand all the hostility. It just... I try to give everybody the benefit of the doubt and try to get multiple perspectives, and sort of, I don't know, ways of thinking, because, everybody has different senses of humor, temper, perspectives, different encounters with the community, and sometimes they don't mesh well. Sometimes there's a lot of egos at play too, so it's just it turns into a mess. But hopefully it's not. It already had crescendoed and now it's wavering. I hope. We'll see. Jason says things do run a course. It's healthy to dive into something else and swim in other waters. Actually, I'm actually starting to work on more personal projects. Last year was very much I was working on Twin Peaks stuff a lot. As most of you guys know, because they were in the form of a lot of these videos. But now I'm kind of getting back to personal projects and watching other things like the new Jack Ryan series on Amazon, which I really love. So if you have Amazon Prime, check it out. Katrina says half of the value of the experience last year was the community. Absolutely. I agree. I met most of you guys last year through this. I didn't have that many Twin Peaks friends before last year, which is insane. Now, talk to you guys pretty often. Sean says, I just hope we don't have to wait too long for season 4. Lynch isn't getting any younger. Yeah. 42 says, I knew about Antelope Don't Run No More, but I thought it was pretty much dead. Who knows, though? Apparently it's a finished script, so from what this Reddit thread says. So, it's possible maybe he talked to Showtime or Netflix or somebody. I mean, if Lynch has just like the script floating around and people are saying it's his best ever, I could see that being made. You guys are funny. Trini says, I don't know if it's necessary to make a season 4, but I may need a few years to come back to season 3. Whenever I go back and watch it, I usually watch it to reevaluate, like sort of check out an episode. Maybe there's something here or there that I notice and I kind of want to revisit. Sean says, Lost Highway TV show. I'll watch that. You know, speaking of all this sort of drama, I wonder if there's like fan films out there or really intensely Lynch inspired films out there that just don't get any recognition and kind of just are floating out in the ether, hoping somebody will see. It would be really cool to have sort of a little somebody to dive in and find all these Lynch inspired films and kind of bring them together, and we could, you know, celebrate the new artists that have come from or have learned from Lynch and kind of pull from or are inspired by his work. Van says maybe that's why Lynch was at Netflix pitching Antelopes. I think he's producing a film that I don't remember the name of it, but again, he could be just, you know, talking to people. I think Netflix is a brilliant platform to get your film made. I know like everybody big and small is trying to get something on Netflix because it's almost certain that somebody's gonna watch your movie, even if they stumble on it. So it's a nice place to be. Sean says, I wrote my own script for a Lost Highway sequel a long time ago, but it was a first draft. I'm sure people would be, I mean, I don't know if you'd want to ever share it. That's completely up to you, but I'm sure people would be interested in reading it. I'm always interested in, you know, especially, there's so many creative people in this, dare I say, community, that I'd like to see other people's work and original work, or, you know, fan fiction or fan film, whatever it is. I haven't seen too much Twin Peaks fan fiction, but I believe it's out there. Yeah, you definitely should do it, Sean. I'm sure a lot of us would be interested, even if maybe you just read it, or I mean, who knows? I know I'd be interested in seeing it. Freud2 says, I never picked sides, but I was still targeted by some choosing sides. I never did choose sides. People got mad at me for no reason. I just like talking TP and other things. You know, it's weird because I feel like I live in this almost like side bubble, because I haven't heard anything really negatively said about this channel or myself. I don't know what it is about my channel. I really don't know. It's strange. It's all very strange to me. It seems like people already have, even before this whole thing went down, I think people already had sort of a vendetta against certain people, and this just gave them some sort of backwards reason to pursue just being crappy, which I don't agree with, and I think it's nonsense. But we're not going to discuss that too much today. 42 says, your channel is so relaxed and cool. I like it. Thank you. That's kind of what I'm trying to do. I don't want to be too uptight about this. I just wanted a place where people could like sort of talk and just discuss about anything, Twin Peaks, and then, you know, evolve into other conversations. You know, these a lot of times when I do these streams, it's more for you guys than for like gaining views or anything. So whenever I make like a Twin Peaks stream, it's just because I want to chat with you guys on a sort of a platform that, you know, moves quickly. Whereas Twitter, it's kind of like you tweet, then you wait. But this, I could just read your chat in real time and see what everybody's up to. Sean says, sure, once I finish writing, I'll send you the script through email, Joey. See what you think. Please. That'd be really cool. I'd probably have to rewatch Lost Highway to connect things, but I'm genuinely curious. So, you know, no rush. Just whenever you feel the inspiration, go for it. Definitely supportive of that kind of thing. Katrina says, I missed the drama. Joey's channel is a drama-free zone. I'd like to think so. I hope so. I hope nobody's getting into arguments over here. You know, they say there's no such thing as bad PR, but I'd rather be known for being sort of a good guy than somebody who makes people's lives a living hell. For two, I have not seen any of Guy Madden films, but I've heard of them. I'm gonna be frank. For being like sort of a film lover, I've only really been sort of immersed into learning about film for like not even, I guess almost probably 8 or 9 years now. When I was in high school, I was into movies, but it was just I wasn't like immersed. It wasn't until after high school where I felt like I had missed a lot, and I was like playing catch up with a lot of books and movies and music that I like just wasn't exposed to in high school. And I kind of wasn't until I had more time to myself that I started really watching, you know, movies that aren't mainstream and listening to music that isn't mainstream and reading books that I felt like we should have read in high school and just never did. So I'm still pretty fresh to this whole film world, but I'm learning. I'm trying to make my own films too. Sean is going as Mr. C this Halloween. That's gonna be great. Which Mr. C are you gonna do? Are you doing just sort of the leather jacket with the little rubber band in the back, or are you doing like the prison Mr. C when he's in prison? Sean says, who's your favorite director? That's tough, because I do, like, instinctively I do want to say Lynch. Again, Kubrick is up there. At a time it was J.J. Abrams, because I really liked anything he did. And you know, one of my first real it's strange. One of the first things that really got me into movies, and a lot of you might not believe this, was Cloverfield. That was like the movie where I'm like, holy crap, this is like the most exciting thing I've ever seen. Because I hadn't really been that immersed and in love with a movie ever in my life in the way I was with that movie. Because I got very involved. There was a whole viral marketing campaign that went on with that movie, and I was on the internet trying to figure out all the clues and everything. It's just, oh man, it really kind of sparked something in me. And I know a lot of people don't like that movie, and a lot of people can't even watch it because it's so, it's so blurry with the camera movements. Some people get sick from watching it, but it was really sort of something that, it clicked something in my head that made me want to like find more and get more involved and, learn as much as I can about film in general. From Cloverfield, it seems weird. Like, it's not like I don't think it's a typical movie where people feel inspired by it, but it totally got me. Jason says, "Stay fresh, stay curious. I'm still discovering things as you're older." I mean, that's good. Stay curious, man. 100%. What else is there? Sean says, I'm doing the full outfit with the blood just after he comes back to life and he meets Hutch and Chantel. That's going to be a good look, Sean. Hope you share some of the pictures if you got any taken. Katrina says, a friend who's more sophisticated than me sent me the Cocteau's Orphée on my birthday several years ago, and I'm hooked now. I'll have to check that out. I do not know about that. Sean says the marketing for Cloverfield was amazing. I remember seeing the first teaser before Transformers. That's what I mean. I was like, people can do things like this. This is bizarre to me. I was, what, 17, 16, 17 when that movie came out? And it was just like, oh, like this is my thing. Like I knew immediately, like I love this. This is great. So I mean, besides Cloverfield Paradox, 10 Cloverfield Lane was also beautiful, and it was like, now I don't know which one I like more, 10 Cloverfield Lane or the first one. It was one of those. Everybody has that sort of thing that kind of clicks them into really embracing something, I guess. Man says all of Fellini, good and bad too. Sean says I thought it was Godzilla because it didn't have a title yet. I believe it was originally called Monstrous or something, and then they went with Cloverfield because that's the name of sort of the I guess the name of the tape, or the area in Central Park where they found the tape, or the code name for it anyway. 42 says there are many great directors. That is hard to choose the best. I mean, Chris Columbus, who did Home Alone and the first 2 Harry Potter movies, and Goonies. Another one of my favorite directors. And there's part of me that always just really wants to rip off the tone he puts in those movies, because I think it's so beautiful and seems so genuine, and it like makes your heart all full and stuff. So Chris Columbus is one that I rarely hear, but I think he needs a lot more admiration than he gets. I mean, I'm sure he has plenty, but I think he's a really great filmmaker too. Denis Villeneuve, who did Arrival, the first Sicario, and the new Blade Runner, is absolutely one of my currently favorite directors. I'm excited for his. I mean, he's doing the Dune reboot or remake, so I'm really excited. I mean, he's very good with sci-fi, so I trust he'll do well with it. And I'm curious to see how far he takes it, since there's going to be 2 films. Lynch version's good, but I think Villeneuve has a good way to world build and immerse in that world at the same time. So I'm really excited to see his take on Dune. Sean says I really enjoyed Super 8. It's funny. So I went to see Super 8 with friends, and I was the only one that actually liked it. And I kept saying everything was mint, because the kid in that says everything, like anything that's cool is mint. So I was too annoyed them. I'd say, that's so mint, or something like that. I was being obnoxious, but I actually like that movie. I have the Blu-ray over there. Channel Zero says I find Cloverfield a tough watch until a creature appears, then it got great with no let up. The beginning's slow. I honestly, one of the reasons I really wanted to see Cloverfield is when I found out Lizzie Kaplan was in it, because I had such a crush on Lizzie Kaplan. And I had known, J.J. Abrams from Lost and Alias and whatnot, so I was just curious. And again, the marketing for it was super enticing. But then what really got me engaged in the first few minutes was Lizzie Kaplan being involved, because I was like a teenager. I was like, oh, Lizzie Kaplan, super pretty. Sean says, I said it many times, but Joe Dante is a very underrated director. Inner Space by Joe Dante is a wonderful film. I have not actually have I don't think I've seen Inner Space. Let me see. It might be on my list. I have like a master list of things I need to see. Oh yes, Inner Space. Meg Ryan is in. Guys, I love Meg Ryan so much. Or I love I love Meg Ryan in the 80s and 90s. So I'm really excited to see that. Channel Zero says Kaplan was amazing on the eyes. I just had such a silly teenage crush on her. So that's what really got me really, focused on that first part. Sean says, I also think people wanted to see Cloverfield to see what the creature looked like. Totally. If you guys don't know, like a lot of the people that actually subscribe to this channel are because of Cloverfield. Cloverfield right now is like my biggest video. I have a theory video before Cloverfield Paradox came out. I have a theory video that was like, it's just like, it has hundreds, like 200,000 views or something like that. So that brought a lot of my main subscribers into this channel, main viewers. I'm a huge fan. I'm like genuinely a huge fan of Cloverfield. But yeah, I mean, J.J. Abrams, if you've ever seen his TED Talk, he has this whole thing about the mystery box. So he's like, so they approached that marketing almost like it was part of the thing itself instead of just sort of an appendage, like we'll just use this to get people to watch this. No, the marketing is going to be part of the story we tell by, keeping the mystery and withholding information and just doing a good job of enticing people. Fro2 says, I don't mind the slow beginning of Cloverfield. It created a lot of anxious anticipation. I like and hate that feeling. Screwing with your emotions is what makes a good director great. And Matt Reeves is the one that directed the first Cloverfield. And Matt Reeves, I believe, is set to direct the Batman standalone movie. Yeah. Let's see. And he recently did the new Planet of the Apes movies. I guess Matt Reeves, I could put him in a pretty high regard as well. Although he's done a good amount of movies. Let's see. He did a couple episodes of Felicity. It looks like Cloverfield was his first big project. Then he did Let Me In, and then 2 of the Planet of the Apes movies, and now he's doing Batman. So good on you, Matt Reeves. Get it. Thanks, Sean. I want to make one for maybe a 4th Cloverfield, but who knows what that's gonna happen. And I don't think Paradox gave us enough to infer what would happen in a 4th. It kind of already gave us all the answers for that, but I don't know. All right, so I think I'm gonna wrap this up. It's close to 11 now. I appreciate you guys for all being in here. Keep your head above water. I know there's a lot of mucky stuff going on right now, but definitely, we'll return to form eventually. Everything hopefully will work itself out. 402 says Edgar Wright is a great director. He doesn't get enough credit. Absolutely. Absolutely. Actually saw Baby Driver not too long ago for the first time. Really loved it. Actually, so much so that I kind of made... I've been playing this game called Rememorex, which... If you guys are into tabletop games, I don't know if you guys like Dungeons and Dragons or anything, but a friend of mine actually came up with this. Well, now we're friends. This is he and his wife came up with this game. We got all our signatures. The book came out recently. You can buy it on DriveThruRPG. Really fun. So after seeing Baby Driver, I made my character in this game basically kind of Baby Driver, but he's still too young to drive. So he's like Baby Driver origin story. It's really cool. Speaking of which, I don't know if you guys know about this, but I'm also working on a new show for the channel. Not Twin Peaks related, but it is going to be about monsters. Talking about Cloverfield. And our first monster is going to be sort of inspired by this game. It's going to be Injured Cole, or the Mothman. And he's in this game. Really fun. Really fun. I'd suggest you check it out. I'm going to be actually working on a podcast centered around this game. So we have our first meeting this Friday coming up. So that'll be something also coming through the gate. But But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Hopefully everybody is having a good Saturday night, has a good rest of their weekend, and a fine work week. Again, appreciate you guys for watching. Anybody new here, subscribe to the channel. Like the video if you want to do that. And I'm going to be doing a giveaway pretty soon, because I still have another one of these to give away, because I don't need two. So look for this guy giveaway if you want one. It's probably going to be US only, but anyway, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it, and I'll see you guys later.